The origins of the Falklands warrah are a mystery that have evaded scientists for years. Even Charles Darwin could not work out how this friendly canine came to be in the Falklands after he visited in 1883. That is, until now. New research from the scientists at the University of Maine may have started to scratch the surface of the mystery that surrounds this now extinct creature, with some exciting new evidence of human activity.
The warrah has taken it plays an interesting role in this research in that it sort of ties all of the questions together. But really, in order to determine if the warrah might have been brought by indigenous South Americans, the first thing we had to do was identify whether we could find any signals of human activity. And so it really started there. While the question was born out of wanting to understand about the warrah, we had to actually jump, one step ahead and figure out, is there any evidence to support that, pre-European people were in the islands?
A team of researchers collected a number of samples from around the Falkland Islands, choosing places that would have been suitable for human activity. And evidence was found that could be dated to around 1800 BC and 550 BC, which suggests that people visited the Falklands prior to European arrivals.
We've got our sort of paleoecological line of evidence, which is this massive increase in charcoal in peat records on New Island. And charcoal basically is an indicator of fire. And when humans first arrive on islands, and this is a global phenomenon, when people first get to islands, fire just skyrockets. The intensity and frequency with which fires occur dramatically increase. And we see a several orders of magnitude increase in fire. We found these bone piles on New Island, and we radiocarbon dated some of those bone piles, and it turns out that those dates are nearly synchronous with this increase in fire. And then just downslope of some of these bone piles, a landowner in the 1970s actually found a stone tool that was made from Falklands quartzite. So sort of these three lines of evidence, this increase in fire, these massive bone pile assemblages, and then this stone point, all sort of point the finger at human activity that predates European arrival by several centuries.
This line of research, as well as getting a radiocarbon date from around 3,000 years ago on a warrah bone that was found at Spring Point Farm, has led to the hypothesis that it was the Yagan people from Tierra del Fuego that visited the islands. Aspects of their culture, such as the importance of fire and a close connection with foxes, link to the evidence that was found in the Falklands.
The cool, exciting outcomes of this research was that we've now been able to connect with the descendants of the people that we think were the ones that might have visited, whether that was intentional or accidental or temporary or permanent, whether or not Kit's research is the only visitation, or we'll find more evidence on other islands that date back to an earlier time. We don't know. So we really think this is the beginning of an exciting conversation about the long history of the Falklands.
The next steps for this research are to speak to the descendants of the Yagan people to find out more about their history and culture, as well as hopefully visiting the Falkland Islands again to see if there is any more evidence that can be found that will further this research.
If anybody has seen things like this or is wondering about, potential interesting features on their property, we're really excited about following up on those things. And so getting in touch either with us directly or with the museum would be a step in the right direction for sure.
And just maybe we might get an answer as to what these prehistoric people were doing in the Falklands, and also the origins of the warrah.
It's exciting because we've got a lot of evidence that people were there, and then more tantalizing evidence, that the warrah was there even earlier. So it could be really fascinating follow-up research for this.